This is our first 4-Minute Fridays. Thanks for joining, brother. The format is, no self-promotions, no B-roll, none of that overproduction. I'll do your intro. I've seen you go from right out of college all the way up to the triple black belt of SEO, reputation management, and in marketing. You're the president of Percepture, which is a fantastic company that is inside that space. Why I wanted to have you on the first episode is because artificial intelligence is on everybody's mind. It's being talked about everywhere. It's in our industry in a huge booming way. And at the end is its data lake, what it's fed and what it uses for its source of information. Right now, in the GPT OpenAI space, that's the internet. And who better to be talking to as an expert than somebody that is constantly working with internet data, information, and manipulating that. The ChatGPT model is linguistics, it's language, and it's using the internet as what it needs to read and understand. The GPT itself has to have a search engine to know what is valid, and then it uses that content to understand and collate everything that it just learned to the end user. Behind all of that, SEO companies still are somewhat controlling that, and therefore you're like with a steering wheel on the curriculum to which GPT is going to data mine and learn from. So are you able to manipulate that at all? And are you using artificial intelligence?
Oh, 100%. Just like Neo, we were using artificial before it was official, and even,
Okay.
today's generative AI chatbots are nothing more than just a search engine, pulling from a source of information and then making sense of it. The human and AI teaming component, that's the future.
I saw you in a video where you manipulated the response that a Google HomeKit or an Alexa responded with. You were able to, within a couple of days, have Google spit out what you wanted it to spit out to the general public.
Yeah, we were able to do it in 3 days where we did three things.
Okay.
We ended up creating a piece of content answering frequently asked questions around the topic that we want to rank for. In this scenario is actually B2B marketing budget for 2024. So anytime somebody would ask, we would end up appearing as a result in voice search and also in generative AI. The second way that we did that was to actually increase the credibility of that content by doing link building, which is taking links from third-party sites and pointing it back into the article page. Old school status, and then doing force indexing of those page with those links, because sometimes it takes a few days, a few weeks, even a month for Google to index new content. What we did is we just fed the search engines the new content and the content that had links pointing back to that piece of content.
People, marketing companies, they can manipulate the responses and what you're hearing through Alexa, what you're seeing through a GPT AI response.
Yeah, it can be controlled and manipulated and amended.
Is there any malintent? Have you ever been approached with anything? Election season's coming up. I don't want to go there, but
it is. And I've been asked some things before, and some of these things are a one-way ticket to a Netflix show. So you definitely don't take that. So I won't get into the details of exactly what they were. I'll give examples of things that you don't take on.
Number one, I'll read in between the lines here.
Yeah, number one is politics. Number two is celebrity scandals. Or number three, somebody had a fun weekend in LA or the Hamptons, and you don't want to incorporate your brand with somebody else's problem or bad situation.
So if somebody doesn't have good ethics like yourself, can things be tampered with?
Absolutely.
What about content you see on social media platforms? Is anybody gaming that system?
Oh, of course, but there are safeguards in place on like programmatic advertising that do prevent some parties from taking advantage of it to influence people too much. It's funny that history finds a way of repeating itself. What people are now doing in social media and their videos and their content are actually stuffing keywords in there to game the algorithm. And this was a tactic used in the late 90s. Where they would stuff keywords and actually white the text out so the search engines would pick up on it.
On the website, the font would be white and you didn't see it. Okay,
how
are they doing that today?
So they're literally just taking the keywords and putting it below the video where the viewer can't see.
Oh, so it's now encoded or embedded in the videos.
Yes, and around the post content.
So who's doing stuff like that?
A lot of the influencers and the content creators out there are starting to pick up on that. I wouldn't say major brands are using that yet, but I would say it's a tactic that, that some people are starting to uncover like it's new, but it's actually been around for over 2 decades.
Well, we should try that here.
Yeah, well, actually, know what we could do, and maybe I'll even try it on this video. We'll stuff the content at the bottom of the video, and then I'll point links back from third-party sites into the post itself. And it'll be interesting to see the social signals and the search engines working together to actually help elevate that post ranking, not just to show up higher in LinkedIn, but also it will start getting indexed by Google as well, which would then entail get indexed by Bing and Yahoo.
Oh,
So there are
wow.
things that we can do to help actually increase the ranking
Don't
of
give
this.
me that floor. I don't want that kind of limelight. Final topic. I've been starting to get a lot of ads targeted to me that are very, very relevant. I'm always putting my Gmail down. I'm selling it my data, and it's going through everything. And it practically knows when I'm getting paid, what I'm buying, what my health is, who I talk to, what my interests are. What are your thoughts as the expert inside seeing all this? Does any of that worry you? And is there anything in your life that you do to stay off of these platforms?
Gmail isn't free. Your data is a lot more valuable where they're able to actually target you based on the things you buy, the places you go, the things you do, and even based on your job title or company. They can actually map it back based on your personal email to your home IP address and then target people by either household ID or firmographics, meaning that you can do specific B2B targeting using the same concept. It collects email content, your search history, all your contacts as well, and any other personal data that's used to target and personalize ads just to you. I don't feel like giving away all my data, right? So I end up giving them a dummy email address that I rarely use and I don't use when connected to my IP address.
We just had a baby and I'm seeing Huggies commercials. So fine.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to see pills that are for arthritis because I don't have that.
One thing to certainly be aware of is anytime that you're logged in with any of your devices to your personal email, all your devices are connected to each other. So this phone's connected to that TV and the computer that I'm talking to right now. AI and even advertising platforms are able to stitch together that information and able to directly target you specifically, not by the cookie, but by the device ID and by the IP address that you're using. Have you ever noticed if you end up looking for a hotel that the second search, the price ends up getting inflated in that location?
Yes.
Because they could predict what your next move is. So every time I do a search, the second search, the third search, it predicts that this is where I'm going. It can already see on my calendar that I have flights going to London. It could track my credit card statements and all my purchases basically to help predict exactly where I'm going to be. So now it's going to inflate the price, knowing that there's a specific neighborhood I want to stay in when I'm going to London. So to prevent that, you don't log in with your personal email, don't do a search under a certain IP address.
Get your butt up, go to the local coffee shop, log on to the Wi-Fi or use a VPN, mask your MAC address, and that's when you do your shopping and your travel plans.
Exactly.
I won't do that. I will still sit at home. Bob, thank you so much for joining. I think this was great. And we're going to chop this up into hopefully 4 minutes of content from you. I learned a lot today. I hope I got a little, scared from some of this stuff, but this won't be the first. So thank you for joining, Bob.
Thanks for having me, Brando.
Bob Generale from Percepture, everybody. Look him up.